Hi, my name is Jerry Royce, and welcome to Positive Power 21 Network. Do you want your business heard? Do you want your website visited? Well, call us at 410-581-8100. I said call us at 410-581-8100. We're one of the fastest growing social internet radio programs on the market today. You know why? Because we're featuring some of the hottest entrepreneurs, book authors, poets, and positive people. So call us now at 410-581-8100 and have one of our representatives call you as soon as possible. Because when it's all positive, it's all power. Positive Power 21.org. Hello, and thank you for stopping by. I'm your host, Jerry Royce, and welcome to Positive Power 21 Network, where you get your positive on. This is a worldwide podcast for growth, wealth, and success. Thank you.
PositivePower21.org, Internet Radio.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Positive Power 21. When it's all positive, it's all power. I'm Jerry Royce, and tonight on the show, we have jazz vocalist from the D.C. area, Lori Williams. Welcome to the show, Lori. How are you?
I'm fine. Thanks for having me, Jerry.
You're welcome. We're just so delighted to have you on the show. We see you on YouTube all the time, and we're following your Facebook, and we know when you're out of the country, when you have big events coming up. You're doing a very good job with your promotion, and we commend you for that.
Thank you.
And we're going to get a little bit of information from you about that for those who are trying to go into business for themselves, whether it's singing or just, online marketing, whatever. We figured that your advice would be a good one, okay? But before we go into that, we'd like to know a little bit about your background and how you got into professional singing.
Wow, let's see. I've been doing this for about 35 years, professionally about 30 plus, so it's in between there. But I started really doing some work when I was at Hampton University and got connected with the music program and the media program, and had some really wonderful mentors in Bob Ransom and Effie Gardner, and they were wonderful mentors and teachers, and they introduced me to jazz, and I got hooked. And so I did a lot of singing when I was on campus and did some competitions and open mics and things of that nature, and had a lot of wonderful support from my peer students who were there as well. And I left there and moved to Japan after working for a company called Dimensions Entertainment, or Dimensions Unlimited before they changed their name. Had a brief stint working for Capitol Records, and the rest is kind of history. So I, lived in Japan for about 5 years, and then came back and then got into education and the music.
All right. So your music influence, have you been able to push a lot of that on your students, get them interested in the same genre that you're involved in right now?
It's funny you said that, because right now one of their assessments that they're doing is they have to perform a song, sing alone. That's one of the standards we have, singing alone and with others. So singing alone, they have to sing a jazz genre for this third advisory that we're going into. So they're just getting into researching jazz. So absolutely, I push it on them.
All right, is jazz your first love with music, though?
You know what? I wouldn't say that it was my very first love, because, coming up in the church, I was in a Baptist church upbringing, and so I loved gospel music and things. I think a lot of artists do the same thing. They have the gospel roots or the spiritual roots, and so I listened to a lot of gospel music coming up. But then I got introduced to a lot of the artists, and the rest was history.
Yes. Now, professionally, you've just been involved with jazz just throughout your whole career.
That's not accurate, really, because for me, Lori Williams, yes, I would say that I'm a jazz vocalist, but I've had the opportunity to do bluegrass and rock and country and gospel, and you name it. We just had an event where I performed at Temple Shalom in Chevy Chase, Maryland, so we were singing songs of the Hebrew text for a Jewish service. So whatever it calls for, I do it.
That's right. Now, do you have your own band, or basically, a lot of different guys play different instruments, and you can call on them anytime?
Yeah, I don't like to call them my band. I have a lot of people that I consider my band family, and so I will use a core group of people that I'm used to, and they're used to me and my style, but I mix it up. Matter of fact, I did this event last week at this Ethiopian restaurant called Jukem, I want to say it correctly, in D.C. on U Street, and I had never worked with these gentlemen before, but they were phenomenal. It was totally improvisational the entire night, and so they labeled it as my band, but they definitely were not. These guys were independent artists doing their own thing, and we just kind of vibed together.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful. Now, I did have an opportunity to see you perform live. We had a wonderful time. It was in D.C. I think it was the Blues Alley.
Blues Alley, yeah. Thank you.
It was a big crowd in a small, intimate place setting.
Which is what I like most. I mean, I've done the festivals, and I like those a lot because I like performing outside. Anytime I get to perform outside, it's just a really good experience. But the intimate crowds when they're packed, that you can't trade that energy for anything.
That's right. That's like the good old days, like the Cotton Clubs and all.
Right.
Now, speaking of the Cotton Club, have you performed in New York?
I have performed in New York a couple of times. There was an organization called IAJE, the International Association of Jazz for Educators, and I had a wonderful opportunity of performing there several times, but I haven't been back to New York to perform in quite some time. However, I'm scheduled to chaperone some students on a trip there on Thursday, but that's, I like to shop in New York, but I haven't had a chance to really gig there in quite some time.
Right.
I want to get back up there, absolutely.
That's right. Nothing like the big New York, the Big Apple.
Yeah.
All right. Now, we had an opportunity to check you out on YouTube. It's like all the artists are really exploding using YouTube to their advantage to keeping their fans engaged. Now, when we talk about engagement, what's the first thing coming to your mind when you're thinking about engaging your fans?
Well, I think the content of the music is important and how it's delivered. When I post things to YouTube, it's for exposure, and I understand the engagement, but some people post. I'm not always happy with everything that's posted, but I always try to tell my students it's who you are in that moment. And so, and the quality is not always great when people upload, from their camera phones or whatever. So, but if the music is great and it's going to, get some hits just because they like the song, that's wonderful. But I have a former student of mine, who posted one of the songs that I did on another person's project, and I thought he did a fabulous job. Stephen Austin did. He actually put up this tune that I did for a Christmas CD, and I was so happy that he did that because it got a lot of hits and a lot of exposure, especially around the holiday time. So I think that videos are really big right now, and I haven't had a chance to delve into that aspect yet because it's also dealing with, if you want a really good quality, you have to put up some really good money too. So, I'm not there just yet as far as that, but I'm hoping to get there in 2014.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, definitely the money.
Right, because I self-promote. I do everything on my own at the current time, and I've always been in that category of being the independent artist. So when it comes to the production side, the hiring of the band, the setting up of the studio, rehearsal, all of that, it comes out of, my pocket, and then I hope to get it back on the gig.
Because you're considered to be independent artist
Absolutely,
right now?
yeah.
Okay. So all your CDs, because you released two.
I released two personally, right.
Right,
yep.
And that's under your name, Lori Williams.
Under Lori's name, yep.
So it's all published under Lori Williams.
Yes, it is.
All right. Now, so going back to YouTube and Facebook. Now, I know Facebook has its limitations a little bit, and I notice a lot of artists and even entrepreneurs are starting to venture a little more into LinkedIn, only because you consider yourself a publishing company as well, correct?
Well, I wouldn't call myself a publishing company. I think it's more so promotion. I don't know. I when I say Lori Jazz, that brand, that encompasses the website, that encompasses the name that I have that goes with anything else. But the Lori Williams and Friends, that's the band itself. If I'm hired for a gig, it could be under Lori Williams or Lori Williams and Friends. So I haven't officially done the publishing company aspect of it. I just do it all independently, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I guess the reason why I call it publishing, I guess because I come from that world. I'm thinking about recordings, books, e-books, electronic media, and because your songs and your videos are considered to be electronic media, and you're talking about like the iTunes, your Amazon.com, where people can purchase your material without you having to actually hand out a CD to them. It's like you can be asleep and have like hundreds of downloads one day just because something went viral and they loved it.
Now, I hope that is the case.
Right.
That's
where I was going.
You know what? Even with the Internet, the tricky thing is that there are a lot of nondescript, unknown sites that can actually get your product. I found that out. And then they can release it without you even knowing about it. And so I've encountered that a couple of times. And I guess being an independent artist, the protections are not always there as they are with those artists who have the labels backing them. Yes,
absolutely. Because one of the things I noticed more, that Beyonce is not afraid to go on concert, as well as she's going out on the Internet giving out her concerts for free.
Right.
So it's like she'll do a whole hour or longer on YouTube, and at the same time she's still selling tickets.
Yeah.
Is it because, can you tell me a little bit, what is her method to her madness, you think?
Well, see, I wish I knew. I have respect for artists who have the backing and the know-how and that business savvy, and I wouldn't have a clue as to what the thought process is for someone of her caliber or her stature, because I'm not there. I think that with the jazz realm, I try to stay true to who I am and try to connect with the artists and the public who would appreciate me. And I even say that to my kids. They can't be me. I can't be them. I can't be a Beyonce. I can't be a Patty. I can only be Lori and be the best that I know how to be. So when it comes to marketing my brand, I have 4 Facebook pages, even though a lot of people are venturing. And I have a LinkedIn, and I have a Pinterest, and I have a Twitter, and I have a Vine. And, I'd have as much as my kids will say, from student aspect, that's something that's hip and that's in, then I'm going to an app and I'm downloading it so I can figure out how to market that particular avenue and be able to get some legwork for my product.
That's right. So how's your fan base so far?
And that's even, I was talking to my webmaster a while back. At one point on my website, I had a ticket counter. You know how they say how many people have visited your site? But that's, that becomes, it's not really accurate, because I found that, or for me it really wasn't accurate. I found that if I actually went back to my page 50 times a day, that it showed up that there were 50 people who visited when it really was just me. So that wasn't an accurate depiction of how many people are actually going to the site,
Right.
So I wanted to have a true sense. So I really am not certain as to how many people are, following me, and I haven't figured that out. Again, like I said, I'm independent, so I'm the teacher, I'm the mother, I'm the I'm the business person trying to promote myself and book gigs and do contracts and send writers out, and I'm doing all this independently. So it becomes
right, and it's hard, and that's a lot of hats to wear.
It's a lot, It really is.
You're talking about analyzing and interpreting the market, just to figure, where you should spend your money and your time marketing. And a lot of us in that same boat, even as a podcaster, I'm trying to understand my audience, and all these experts are saying, oh, you have to engage them, but then you have to find out where they're spending most of their time and where your dedicated fans are.
On Facebook, 2 of my pages, I use them more so for the marketing aspect, because they have these insights, I think is what they call them, where you can be able to see, the reach of your hits, your posts that you put up there, how many people are actually paying attention to it, and you can be able to spike your hits by paying for more people to really boost your post.
Right.
And I've done that a couple of times, and I think it has been beneficial. Like if I have concerts that come up that I want to get a nice crowd, I've sold out at Blues Alley, and I would attribute that to spiking or boosting these posts, because I may not even know half of the members of the audience.
That's right. And they saw something. Yeah, and that's a good thing. I'm glad you brought that up, because when you spike it like that, what's happening? Does it mean that your posting is going to stay at the top of the page all through the day?
No, it gives you more reach. When you boost it, you can be able to set your demographics as to where you would like the post to go, which particular part of the country. There are different things that you can do on this, which is really kind of cool.
Wow, great.
Yeah.
All right, now let's talk about your CDs a little bit. Which one is your favorite?
Okay, that's hard to say. I would have said the second one, but the funny thing is I put in the first one today, and I have some people who think this is kind of weird that I listen to myself, but I listened to the first song and I had it on loop, and I do that more so for rehearsal purposes. It's not like a cocky thing, like, oh, she's checking herself out, but I was at a different place when I did the first CD, and I'm not at that place anymore, so I'm trying to find a new way to deliver the song that I delivered where it's not in that place that needed to be healed. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I listened to it a lot today to kind of figure out what's a different approach.
Now,
I can't answer that what's my favorite. They're both great, Terry.
Is it the same language that we were hearing from Mary J. Blige when, they said, oh, that's not Mary's music. She was going through something at the time, and then there was this big hit. It was really speaking to her audience. Then the other music came. I said, no, Mary wasn't going through anything.
Well, did she write it?
Who knows?
All right.
I'm not sure it was because, she was in a... I think she
because
did write her
for
material
me, I can only address it because I wrote most of it. Because I wrote it, and that's the beauty also of being that independent artist when you're able to set your own kind of path, and you're not privy to, or you're not beholden to someone else's set ideals. I need you to record this in this kind of way. It's more, when I did it, it was what was on my heart at the time, and I wanted to put it out.
You got the control.
Yeah, the control. So with I think Mary has control that she wants to. I actually heard Mary J. Blige on a holiday special, and I was so impressed that I had to find the clip on YouTube. She was just vocally, she's stronger. She's mature, and so I like her now. This person that she is. So I don't know. I would think that that's who she is. You think
she's in a better place now?
I would say absolutely. She looks fabulous. She sounds fabulous. So yeah.
Yeah, I saw her too, and she did look spectacular. I was like, wow.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now let's talk a little bit about your music again, because I was thinking about what Tom Joyner said today when he was talking about Prince. They always say Prince going to do what Prince want to do, but the people want to hear Prince hits, his old music.
Right.
But he just refused to do that. He want to bring his new freshness now. How you feel about that, being an artist? I mean, are you thinking about your audience most of the time, or is it really about you?
No, I mean, this is going to sound bad. I think that, of course you want to please the audience, but if I don't please Lori first, then that's a problem. So, I mean, I have to stay true to what I'm putting out, and that's kind of my motto. I've just been doing that. And with Prince, good grief, he is not boxed in at all. And I've seen him in concert 4 times. Oh, my gosh. And each time I screamed like a crazy woman. But he's new and fresh and different, and you're not going to see the same thing over and over again. I was looking at somebody's comment about his afro or, his hair. Now, you can't box this person up. It's Prince.
Right. He's an animal. Yeah, right. And being an artist, sometimes you're just trying to be true to yourself, and if that's the way he's feeling right now, then that's going to give him the opportunity to express himself, because that's where he is right now.
Right, exactly.
And as a real fan, I don't have no problem with whatever Prince brings. I'm still there. If he want to go
still screaming.
Jazz,
okay.
yeah, if he want to go all brass, his guitar, I'm there with him. Now I'm saying, well, Tom Joyner's not a Prince fan. He's just on the bandwagon.
Well, you said it. I didn't.
That's what I say. I say he's on the band. It's just like when it comes to football. It's like you bleed purple or black. No matter what the coach say, what the team is going through, you still there. You're going to feel bad when they lose, but you're going to say, hey, we were better than we were last year, or this is going to improve. The other fans are like, oh, man, they suck this year,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just looking at it like being an artist, it's going to be the same thing. You just being you,
Right.
So your fans are going to feel you, just like, the Beyoncés and Rihannas. They have, I watched some of the blogs, and the comments that the real fans make, and they will go down fighting for their art.
I had a discussion even in my classroom with imagery as it relates to, the media speculation of like the Beyonce image, and then my students are diehard fans, and she could do whatever she wants to do on the stage, and they're going to support her.
Right there, right now, when we're sitting back as parents, like, oh my God, what's happening to Beyonce? Is Jay-Z influencing her?
But the funny thing, Jerry, don't you kind of recall this same kind of discussion with whomever it was? I think it could have been Prince when I was younger, and my parents were probably having a fit as to why was I so caught up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
it's kind of scary because you look at these artists, you say, wow, my children is really fond of this artist, and if they make a mistake, they're going to disappoint the child, or they're going to influence the child. That's what you're thinking about as a parent.
Right.
Wow, that is so deep. Let's talk about your travel.
Oh man! So I'm excited that I was excited to be able to one live in Japan. That was great to be able to have that experience. I didn't have the great musical experience that I'm having now. I was much younger then, but going to Europe, oh my Lord! I mean, I love Europe, and if I could, and I tell this to everybody now, I think I would live there. That would be the place to go. I mean, and my most recent love has been Austria, and I love the people there. They've been so welcoming to me and so genuine, and I don't know, it was just an escape from the stuff that happens here, and not having to deal with the prejudice and it was just really beautiful, and the country is beautiful, just plain beautiful. The food.
I was following your post on that. Tell us a little bit what was going on while you were over there.
Well, for the past 3 years, I've been going over to Austria to do a workshop with the Poisdorf Jazz and Wine Summer Festival, and so this wonderful guy, Bernhard Wiesinger, found me on Facebook talking about marketing and networking, and he asked me if I was interested in doing a festival, if I taught, and I said, yes, I do, and he asked me, did I Skype, and I said, yeah, he found my Skype information, we got that together, and we did a business conference from Austria to here, The
power of the Internet, social media.
From him seeking this, I have no idea how he stumbled across my page, but really, that's to me. I just have to say that was just God and divine order that happened, and I was a little nervous the first time about going all the way across.
That is a long travel.
Yeah, without having known anybody other than a couple of Skype sessions and saying, hi, how are you? And he was familiar with some of my music and, but he had never met me, like in person. And then I had my daughter go with me, Lauren, who was a student at Hampton, and it was a great opportunity. They took care of us like we were all family.
Wow.
And I thought, wow, it was just sheer beauty. And then I got a chance last year to gig at one of Vienna's oldest jazz clubs. It's called Jazzland, and I'm booked to gig there again this year. So
you going back this summer?
Yeah, man, I'm praying, Lord willing. Wow. I've already been scheduled to go, so it would have to be something, that God says otherwise. But I'm planning on getting on a plane and going.
That's right. That is fantastic.
So excited. But in April, I'm scheduled to do a gig in Carlsbad, California, for Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity. It's an organization called Children of Promise, and so I'm the benefit gala featured artist.
Oh, wow. Get out of here.
I know, right? So,
wow.
I'm excited.
That's fantastic.
I'm
following you a lot on Facebook, and then, of course, we see you on YouTube and everything, and we do see that you're doing the travel thing. Now, are you running into other smaller jazz artists that are doing the same thing? They work there, they have their full-time job.
Do the same thing for travel?
Yes, they're smaller artists, independent. Are you running into any other independent artists where they're, signed to themselves?
I don't even know if they're called smaller, but I my network of musicians online on the internet is really, really vast, and so I get to see especially with Instagram. I love watching the pictures of people who I've come in contact with, and they're in Switzerland or they're in Paris, or in Africa. I think Deborah Bond is overseas right now with Kenny Wesley and some other people. I think Carla's over there. But there are a lot of, I was trying to look to see if I could find it really quickly, but there are a lot of artists who do that, and I wouldn't call them lesser scale. I just think that, there's a gentleman whose name is Nolan Williams, and he took some vocalists over to Egypt as part of, I think it was a cultural excursion through the State Department, and they performed over there. But, if you have the funds to be able to go, you can do it. Yeah. And the connection. I think that's the biggest thing. I've always said, I want to go to Paris, but I just, one of these days I'm hoping to go to Paris, so just putting it out in the atmosphere. Right. So if you have any listeners in Paris, you want to hear Lori Williams, say, come on.
That's right. Hook up, I guess, like a student exchange program or something.
Yeah.
Live for the music, the moment.
And every time I go, I love the idea of implementing education, especially with young people, because I think it's really great to be able to, that's what I do during the day, so why not do that, as part of my excursion?
Yeah, and I was going to bring that up next because my daughter, she loves music. She loves the vocal side. She reads music. She took piano lessons.
I got to hear her now. Wait a minute. I might be hiring her for a gig one day.
That's right. She can background sing. Now, this is the deal with her. She started in elementary school being exposed to the music program. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I really was following up Alicia Keys, because she's one of my favorite artists also, she was really pushing, keep the music alive in the schools.
Right.
And I think some of the administrators were really listening, because I know since we've been in Baltimore County, she was exposed to music. My younger son, he doesn't really like it, but he's exposed to it.
Right.
And it was funny because and I'm glad you brought that up because he had just said something about it the other day. I signed him up accidentally for a music program, but I thought he told me that he could sing. He liked it, but he said they made him do it at the elementary school. So now he's in middle school. I signed him up for this music program, but he said it's not really about them singing. It's more about them learning about music, the culture, the reading the music. And he said he really enjoys it.
Wow.
That is fantastic. You see the other side of it because he's interested in like studio equipment and the tech side of recording because he's in here with me sometimes.
Well, there's money in that.
Yeah, so I'm saying, wow, so he gets to see the other side of it. But I said it's good to see the front end, what the artists are actually going through to learn their craft, like his sister, for example. So I'm just saying all of that to say when you're traveling, and I just heard you say, it's like an education behind, your travel as well. Are you seeing the children as well as the adults that's falling in love with your music?
The beauty about Austria and that particular program and the workshops that they have, in the classes, there's no age limit. And so I was really, really fortunate to meet some students who were in high school and work with them as well as working with scientists and doctors and artists, and so I get a chance to work with all ages while I'm over there and then interact. There were some students who weren't even in the workshops, but I think the cultural exchange was a great thing because I don't think a lot of the young people had ever really come face-to-face with an African-American person before, so with my natural hair and chocolate skin, so they got a chance to be able to see me up close and personal, and I'm very free and open, so I'm letting them touch the hair, and it's all good, because it's different, especially for a young person.
Interested in us. Yeah.
Young people are so free, and it's without that inhibition. We are the ones that are, let's not talk to that person, let's not look at that person, let's, they're so open and free. So I love that.
And one thing about the younger people, especially the other races, they have an opportunity to grow up in the communities and go to school with other cultures now, and they're more open. Their best friend could be another race.
Absolutely, and that's what in my classroom it is just so. I have so many different diversities that are in the classroom, so I see it all.
Scholar sees a lot of that too. She's invited to their parties, and you'll see the different races of children all in an African American person's home.
Right.
But you just didn't see that years ago.
Right.
And sharing the love of music and their fashion style and fashion sense and all the little girly stuff that's going on in their lives right now.
Right, and to see that they're not so different after all.
Yeah, and I think sometimes you have to pay homage to people like Beyonce, Rihanna, and your Michael Jacksons and them. They use the music to bring everybody together. You look at like Michael Jackson when he was out there on stage. You see people from other countries just going wilding out even more than the people over here in the States.
Yeah, I mean,
crazy.
One thing that happened to me when I did Jazzland last year, I was walking backstage to go into the back entrance of the club. And this gentleman and I believe his wife or girlfriend said, excuse me, can we get your autograph, which was really kind of cool. They had a picture, a glossy of me, and I had never even seen this picture before of me.
Ooh.
And they brought their Sharpies. That kind of, on the streets of Vienna, Austria, I get stopped and asked for an autograph. That's not happening right here. I wish it were, but,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm right
crazy.
in my classroom, and the kids see me, and I'm just plain old Miss Williams,
Yeah, you go overseas, and you're like a star, and they want your autograph.
but here I'm Mama Lori, so.
That's right. And let me ask you this, Lori. You've been teaching for a while.
Right.
Is it going to be a day you're going to see one of your students up on the big stage, whether it's Broadway?
That's already happened. One of my students, Paris McMillan, opened for Bill Cosby at the Warner Theater for an event that took place last month, so a little over a month ago. So I have a lot of students who are doing phenomenal things already, and they're just great. And I have one student, Maggie Roos, who's studying theater and in music, is in the focus of musicals, and I know she's destined for Broadway. I already know that. She's just amazing. So it happens.
So it is in the works right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm believing that. The funny thing is I have students who I've taught in elementary school who are now my students, and then I have some students I've taught who are now parents themselves.
Yeah, I know.
That's it.
It's crazy every time I hear my mom tell me the same thing. Some student will come back years later, and they have their PhD and everything, and inviting her to their 40th birthday party or 50th.
Right.
I said, "Wow, Mom, that is great." Now, now one of the things that's so amazing to me, when you meet a child for the first time that you introduce the music culture to, and now you're looking up at them. I mean, how are you feeling inside? I mean, what is it doing to you?
Well, you don't want to seem as though I don't know. Music is so beautiful, and so. I never want any of my kids to walk away from my classroom being unhappy. Mm-hmm. And I want them to take it very seriously when it comes to, listening to the music, being perceptive listeners, and then also applying music, with the theoretical applications and the dynamics and the timbre and the tone when it comes to performance.
Right.
But I also want them to be really good audience members, too, and be respectful. So my class is all-encompassing, and I tell them that they get more than just the music instruction. They get life skills in my class. And so when they walk away with a sense of satisfaction that they've done something positive as it relates to music, that's the reward. I thought that there's no greater reward other than saying, the thank yous and the smiles that I get from my kids.
Absolutely.
And
we're going to dive in.
Yeah, I love them.
We're going to dive into something else, too. It's just a little darker about the music industry, the music side. Okay. And, like right now we talk about the lively side. I know this is positive power, but sometimes people got to know the good and the bad. Mm-hmm. Looking at what's happening to some of our mega stars, the music, the cruelty of the music industry. It's like sometimes you want that stardom, but, can we all handle it?
Yeah, with the sacrifice. For me, being a parent and being a mentor, and I am definitely not a supporter of music that degrades women, that is profane. That's not going to happen, and there's no amount of stardom that requires that, because you have to be able to be you have to be able to look at yourself in the mirror the next day and say, you stood for something. So I'm all for love songs and things that make you feel good, and that's great, and you're happy and love and peace, and that's great. But when you start talking about the violent aspect of music, when it's, that's no, we're not having that. And I try to talk to my students. I do this one exercise, and I'll ask them to name a popular rapper or someone who does screamo or something, and I want to be able to look up the lyrics on the internet. And so I'll get the lyrics, and then I'll read them. As I'm having this conversation, I won't read them in the vernacular of, the speech that they use, with the slang. I'll read it as though I'm reading an English novel. And they are just thrown. They're irritated at the fact that, one, this old chick is trying to read our rap or whatever, hip hop. But I want them to see just the foolishness that's behind it and the repetitive negativity that is just thrown at them, and how does that enhance them in any way. And I want them to be able to analyze it, because I'm a big believer that the music that you listen to goes deep within. If you continue to listen to it over and over and over again, that becomes a part of who you are.
That's right. That's
so
true.
A lot of our students can probably recite all the words to, popular rappers' lyrics, but can't tell you, what they learned in math class, or can't tell you what they learned in history class. But if they were to apply some of the same techniques that they learn in these raps and put some lingo that goes to whatever they're trying to learn in their classes, they would be able to master those things. But
right, they'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
Now looking at the industry a little bit deeper than that, especially even in the jazz genre, they're talking about people like Phyllis Hyman and some of your artists who are not with us today. Your Luther Vandross and your Whitney Houston's. What happened to those people? Did they get consumed by the industry and they got away from their music?
I think with Luther, I would think that his demise was really health issues. Maybe I missed it, but I thought that he had a health concern, because I know you have the weight issue of going up and down, up and down. So I thought that's. But when it comes to the Whitney and the Phyllises of the world, we all have our hidden secrets and demons and things that we struggle with, and the temptations, and that we have to just be able to try to figure out how to rise above it. And so just like the gentleman, the actor, we have actors that are dying, and it's a whole lot of things that are causing our kids and mentors and leaders to go a different route, But then I think we glorify and glamorize the negativity as well. I mean, I think about the politician who, is known for, being promiscuous and not being faithful to his wife. Or we also think about our politicians who are into, fraud for government, and we glamorize these things, and they're so caught up with the money side of it, and they don't get scolded until it becomes they get caught. The same thing for our artists, I never knew Whitney, and so I couldn't speak to what her inner demons were. But when you start to expose yourself on national television and you put dirty laundry on a lot of the sitcoms or shows that are the prime time air all, dirty laundry, that's not good for. It's not good for motivation and to heal who you are. And I don't think she ever had a chance to really recover.
No, she did.
Based on what was the show called? Was it Being Bobby Brown, or what was that show called? Whatever the family show she was on with her husband at the time and the children. There were a lot of things that happen on shows like that are not good. We don't all need to see what goes on behind the closed doors of a family that's under attack or that's going through. They need to handle it themselves or go through counseling or prayer. And then
that show on Bravo you was talking about.
They had a sitcom or I don't watch those types of shows.
Her like that.
it's not cool. I don't think that we need. And with the Phyllis, I think the problem with artists like that who then are secluded and they don't feel as though they have people to confide in, and so they go to their quiet places, and then they're left alone with all the tools that they need to be able to take their lives. That's just horrible.
Yes. And that was
I don't really know what to say.
I think with Phyllis and Luther, I think they both shared in some sort of depression.
Mm-hmm. The depression is real. And that I guess it doesn't matter how much money you make.
Mm-hmm.
Circumstances. But I think everybody goes through something. I wrote a post today on Facebook that I'm asking for people to really just consider our children in school and our adults in school, and lift them up and encourage them, because. And my next song that I hope to write is called, and I said I was going to write it tonight, but I haven't had a chance to. It's called Behind the Smiles. I have the title, I have the concept, because you see a lot of people, artists, educators, politicians, regular people, who are smiling in your face on the regular, and they're hurting inside.
Yes, they are.
So we don't take the time to get to figure out what it is. And then we also are a very judgmental nation where we think we're better than, and we have all the answers, and we're all unlicensed counselors.
Yep, that is true. That is true. I say music is the answer to all of our problems.
I think music is, for me, lyrically, I'm able to express what I can't always say aloud. I think public speakers are amazing. They can just get up and say whatever they want to. Sometimes I'll say, I wish I said, and probably after this interview, I wish I said X, Y, and Z. I wish I was quicker on my feet to think of whatever it is. But if I had written a song that expressed what I wanted to say, that song is there forever.
That's right.
And then I can go back to that song for reference, just like I did today, and listen to the lyrics again and figure out what it was that made me want to write those lyrics then, and how can those lyrics empower or strengthen me now.
Yes. You probably wrote it not just for you, but somebody else is probably being affected the same way,
Right.
But it was then or it's now.
Yeah, that's also a great thing to be able to be told that, like how your song has inspired, Yeah,
right. Especially, if the person was somewhere at that moment, and that song kind of helped them overcome whatever they were dealing with.
Right.
It was just right on time. And who knows how they found the music? If it was online, or somebody gave them a CD, or they was riding along in somebody's car and listening to it. It made them. And Glennis has always jumped up and down about your music.
I love Glennis. I had to give a shout out to my Glenny Pooh.
Big supporter of the Lori Williams fan club.
I didn't know if I could do that. I was like, I had to say, hey, Glenny Pooh. Okay. That's my girl.
Okay. And she goes all the way back to your Hampton days. So,
yes, she does.
So, that's like your fan club forever.
That's my sister. Sorry.
That's right. That's right. Now, are you working on a third CD?
I would say that I'm always working on something, but it's kind of like all over the place right now. The first, I got to kind of backtrack if I can have the time to share. The first CD was a 10-year process in the making. I had wanted to do that CD for 10 years, but was afraid, and that's kind of the backdrop for Healing Within. It wasn't just about the fear of the CD. It was about the circumstances of what I was going through. It was about whether, Lori, can you afford it while you have a daughter who's about to go to college? It was a lot of different things, you know what I mean?
Right.
So independent artists, who's going to support it? Will people be there? And then I went to Williamsburg and I have a timeshare that's there, and I went through my meditative state and, kicked myself around and cried. And then I came back and I called a couple of the musicians who were on the project, and I proposed the idea of putting it out. And these guys were so gung-ho and so supportive and so encouraging. I called the studio and I said, I'd like to set this up. The studio guy was Brad Bearwall at Studio 51, was just so amazing, so supportive, so encouraging. And then I went and did 4 songs in one night.
Wow.
And we did the first 4 songs straight, no retakes, nothing. And typically a vocalist is supposed to use scratch vocals on a track, so I wanted to, the process should be something like, if you do it this way, I mean, there are many ways you could record, but I did scratch vocals on a scratch vocal mic, and the band was in a separate room, and I was supposed to come back and re-record my vocals. Well, that didn't happen because I felt that the delivery of what I gave that particular night was raw, and it was exactly what I wanted to, how I wanted to express at that time. And so what you hear is pretty much first take cuts on that CD. And it reminded me of the Motown days or earlier recording days when they didn't have 3 and 4 takes. It's what it is, you know. That's
right. I like that. Let's go with it.
Yeah, let's go with it. And if there's an error, okay, that's who you were in that moment. Go. It's all right.
That's
and
right.
So that.
How about some of the newer technology now where a lot of artists are not even releasing albums anymore? They just releasing singles and selling them on iTunes. Are you going that direction?
They're smart. I mean, I had a couple of tunes that I thought I could do that, but I still like the idea of old school and putting it together in a project. And this is also another way that's kind of backwards for me. I typically will do a photo shoot before I will release a CD. So I had the photos prepared for Healing Within prior to even doing it, and then I thought about the layout concept, and then I reached out to Mandy Strong, and she put it together for me. The same thing happened for Eclipse of the Soul. I went and did a photo shoot. I thought, let me just go, and I'm in a different place, and my look was a little different, and my energy was different, and so I went to Roy Cox Photography in Baltimore, and Roy is the man, and he hooked me up, and then I thought, okay, then with the pictures, I'm able to write some songs that go along with it. Well, I'm scheduled to go back into the photo studio and do some pictures in the next couple of months.
Amazing photographs.
Yeah, he's amazing. I'm like, can I look like that every day? No. But anyway, I'm scheduled to go back and do some more photos. And when that happens, then my motivation. So it's my technique is different.
Yeah.
So I'll be motivated to do a third CD, and I thought maybe to even do a holiday one, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. People are really emotional during the holidays.
They are very emotional during the holidays.
People looking for new music.
Yeah, they need something that's, I don't know. I mean, trust me, I've been there. My mom passed in 2003, so I know what it's like to lose someone. And the holidays for me were, her cakes and gumbo and the house smelling good and that kind of thing. So everybody was at the house. That whole experience is different now, and so then I become that mom for my children, and so the house is my house, and so we have to create new memories, and so I think that's kind of where the project would be.
Yeah, that's an interesting project because, say, for example, that's something you would probably work on through the summer and hope to release it before Thanksgiving, around that time, you're promoting it. And then what happens? Then you sell it. You have a certain time to get it out during a holiday, and then what happens? It just goes up on the shelf and wait for the next Christmas
for
holiday?
Me, it's a matter of timing. If I were to do another CD, I want to be able to time it correctly because there are a lot of like the NAACP has an Image Award. Who knew there was an Image Award that I could have submitted both of my CDs for consideration in the jazz category? Clueless about that. So I'm nominated for a WAMA, actually 2 awards they call them Whammies, and that's the Washington Area Music Association's version of their music award show, like the Grammys. And so you have to make sure you submit music that fits within a particular time frame. So I'm grateful for that one.
Yeah, wow, that's fantastic. Because I was just wondering, with the Christmas, it seems like no matter how many years pass, your project, your
it's
CD
there forever.
Right.
That music can sell. I mean, matter of fact, I'm featured on Benji Parecki's Christmas CD. And sure enough, when December 1 hit, I put that CD in my car. It was just like I have it, And I thought I need some good holiday music, and I got in the mood, and there it was.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about, Christmas holiday. I always love listening to Mariah Carey's music and the Jacksons, 5 old stuff.
Or the Temptations.
Yeah.
Silent Night,
it's just, the music is just so beautiful. And there's only a few stations that really be rocking that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's up to you to try to build your own. Right now, of course, a lot of us have that stuff on vinyl. Going way back.
So I have a couple of things on vinyl, but nothing to play it on anymore.
Yeah, but if you sell those devices now, you can still get them.
I know. I probably should get it.
I remember throwing away Glenda's
no, you didn't.
Recorder. I was like, we don't need this thing anymore. You don't.
Wow.
Because she put everything on tape, and now that stuff is aged now.
Exactly. Now, I did get that adapter so I could be able to put it on to either CD or upload it as an MP3.
That's
but
right.
I haven't taken the time to do that either.
Yeah, very time-consuming.
Right.
But that's where we are right now with the iTunes. And it was funny because I was listening to one of the DJs on one of this XM station. He was talking about Breezy. Chris Brown been promising to release an album, but he just been releasing singles. And I said, wait a minute. Maybe he's making this money with the downloads.
Yeah, he's probably,
not that pressed about it.
I'm sure he is. And he's also an artist, too. I found that out. He's an artist as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting concept. So just say, for example, you're thinking of a song now, and you can just get the guys together, go in the studio, lay it down, bam, you're done, upload it, and get, make money as much money as you can selling a CD on iTunes, promoting it on Facebook, giving the people, 20 seconds, listen to it, they love it, they own it.
That's
it's amazing. Free enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was going back to, and I wanted to kind of finish up the segment on the YouTube, and you said something about you wish you had the quality. Now, you have done a number of concerts, even in like that Blues Alley setting was marvelous. You was engaging the audience. You had some guys came in town that played with you that night.
Right.
Wow, it would have been amazing if somebody could have gotten some footage on that.
Yeah, that would have been amazing, but they have a policy against recording their concerts.
Wow, so it's like...
Yeah, because trust me, I definitely wanted the archival footage for that. That setting, Blues Alley has a beautiful backdrop. The ambiance there is beautiful. I just love the stage. I knew the music was great, was going to be great, because I had phenomenal musicians, and we had rehearsed it, and it was just good, and the vibe was great, and the people were there to support. But, no, couldn't.
Wow, this day and age, you would think that would even help them as an entity.
Yeah, they have live CDs, but usually those CDs are national artists.
But people are just so fond of the independent artists these days. They just give you something. I mean, just like Adele. Adele wasn't Adele, yesterday.
Right.
It was her fan club that made her who she is.
But I also think that, a lot of the artists who, like an Adele, who's not, she's an overseas artist, correct? She's like English?
Yes.
Right. I think that allure, like Lords, the young, is it Lord?
Mm-hmm.
The 17-year-old.
Yeah, Lord, that's her name.
I mean, I think that kind of mystique of being, foreign and different and eclectic and fun also helps to build the fan base. Like, who's that singing this,
Yeah, but I mean, we never saw Adele's face for a long time. We just heard this voice because I heard a lot of her music coming from the service people because they were taping them for YouTube.
Right.
And I was like, wow, my son was telling me about that first song, the one about something about the deep.
Right, Rolling in the Deep.
Yeah, I love that song. I had no idea what she looked like.
Right.
So you kind of fell in love with that tune.
The sound.
Yeah.
Right.
And then when she started releasing more music that was, that was really, really good, then you became a fan of her. You said, wow, she's not a one-night sensation,
No, she's been around.
I'm just thinking that YouTube really propelled her to me.
Right. But you got to figure out how to be able to handle that as well. Because I only have one clip I think on YouTube that really is it has a lot of hits, and that's because of who I'm with. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the connections are also important.
Yes, it is. Well, hopefully we hope that you'll be able to get something together one day so the world can see you.
Me
we can sit back in our living rooms and our dens and watch you for a whole hour perform. And next thing you know, it goes viral, and people want, they want to order you.
Speak it. Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah, I'm putting it out there.
That's what I'm saying. Put it out there. Speak those things. Yep.
I was just telling the wife. I said, wow, if she had an hour concert, I said, how beautiful that would, just to sit back and just listen to this music. Sometimes you want a visual of your favorite artist.
That's pretty deep.
And a lot of artists
figure
like
that thing out. Maybe I could be able to ask when I go over to Austria if I could have the Jazzland concert recorded. That would be cool.
Yeah, sure. Our phone would do a superb job. I mean, you don't need 3 cameras.
Cool. Right.
Yeah, if you just had one camera, with great audio would be great. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Even today, it's a number of artists that's not doing. Just imagine Maxwell. His stuff is available on DVD or download off of any one of these sites.
Right.
You get a chance to watch these guys in high definition. You don't have to wait for their concert to come to town. For a ticket you can't get. Even the Phyllis Hymans. The ones that's not with us. That's why people love Michael Jackson so much. It's just so easy to find. Prince took a lot of stuff off of YouTube. I remember years ago. And even Les Brown, the motivational speaker,
right, yes.
he had took his stuff off of YouTube a while back before he got sick.
Wow.
And then suddenly you started seeing all his work out there, and it's like now everybody know who, even the young people in high school know who he is now.
Right.
Because we always trying to tap into positive thinking with our young people, and you think of people like Les Brown, talking about a speaker, but it's because now you can find them out there on the internet. And you can bring them into your home and get a chance to understand them and learn them.
Wow, that's a good thing.
Yeah, and I wish you the best with that project, and let us know.
I will, and I'll give you credit too.
That's right. Nothing like a live DVD. I just love them. And
that's
another person who else took advantage of that opportunity was Alicia Keys. It went to MTV was the only ones that were doing those plugs, and I think she was on there, and it seemed like that kind of helped catapult her to another level as well. It was like she gave a lot of her stuff for free. A whole 20 minutes of just her on stage. So that's just something you might be able to do at your school. You never know.
Right.
All you need is a HD camera. It could be a cell phone, anything. Just upload it and let people see who we want to hear. And that's Lori Williams, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You were a wonderful guest, and I'm so glad you gave my audience time to get to learn you and understand what you're going through as an artist, and the promotion and all that great stuff, and as an educator trying to promote music in the schools and making our children, the best possible people they could be.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we appreciate it. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's Lori Williams. You can find her at, was your website LoriWilliams.com or LoriJazz.com?
It's just Lori Jazz, LoriJazz.com.
That's right.
My name's Lori.
You can find some of the clips on YouTube, so you get a chance to get to know her, and hopefully be more works in the process.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we appreciate everybody tuning in. When it's all positive, it's all power. I'm Jerry Royce with Positive Power 21. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Continue to browse our website for more and more and more exciting guests. Thank you, and good night.
That was fun.
Thank you for tuning in to the Positive Power 21 Network. Team 21 would like to thank you all for tuning in, and please spread the word and tell a friend. This is Jerry Royce at Positive Power 21, where we get our positive on.